so much enjoyed coming back to the world of Ready or Not. I think it was, I mean, when we stepped off the project in its kind of early days to go and make Scream 5, and then everyone sort of scattered and did other projects. I mean, it was always that project that was like, oh man, we're gotta leave that one behind. Like, please, I hope one day we'll be able to return to it. And we sort of flirted with it over the course of all of the intervening years, and just are so grateful that we returned to it when we did, and that we returned to it how we did. We talk a lot about how it feels like our movies always like happen at the right time, and there's something kind of cosmic about that. And I think having made Abigail, and meeting Catherine Newton, like that was the moment for us, working with her and recognizing a similar weirdness, a similar energy, a similar brilliance in her that Samara has, and just having this feeling of like, man, the two of them have to work together, and it'd be so cool if they were sisters. That little light bulb that went off in our heads was really, I think, the genesis for us coming back. And really, I think in a lot of ways, the sort of reason why the second movie feels like it has a real emotional reason, and an emotional story to tell.
We loved making the first movie, and we loved how the first movie turned out. And I think it's both of those things. It is the lore. We love the lore. We love the mythology. We love the not so subtle point of view of the movie. We also love Sam and working with her, and she's just incredible. She can do fucking anything. And we got her for a few minutes in Scream 6, and that was super fun. But it was like the opportunity to go back and do a whole other movie with her where she's just under immense pressure the entire time. There's nothing we'd rather do,
I mean, it's
Thoughts?
It's hers. Yeah. I think, our goal with every character is to get them as close to the version that we might love on the page, and then to bring actors in to like really make them feel lived in, right? To sort of shine lights into all the little corners that maybe we aren't aware of. And Samara is just like one of the most truthful and honest people that we know. And she's so fearless. Like, there's zero vanity in the way that she approaches the job and the way that she approaches friendships. And so the honesty that you feel in Grace, that's Sam. For as much as she's done a ton of character work, like a lot of the reason we love Grace is because that's like so much of Sam is in Grace. Like, it's you can't really separate the two.
Just a different accent. Yeah, there's tons. We've Guy Busick has written on everything we've done since Ready or Not, and on this one, him and Ryan Christopher Murphy, they wrote such a great script that it allowed the actors room to take it and do different things and try different things. And I think it's one of the things we love about that collaboration on both sides is when you get a script that's so solid and so good, and that bedrock foundation is just rock solid, the cast has the opportunity to run with it. And again, it's like Tyler was just saying, to make it their own, to like embody it in a way that feels very personal and very lived in. And so there's always room for little things, for big things. And I think for us, it's what makes it really exciting and gives us the chance to get something that reads great on the page. And then if there's a way for an actor to make it really just alive and very much their own, it's always those little isms that they add that are the most special, because they couldn't come from anybody else but the person performing them. And so we try to get as much of that as we can.
Yeah, I feel like the two sequels that we talked about the most were, I guess there were three. Terminator 2, Aliens, and Die Hard with a Vengeance were like the three movies that it felt like we were
classic horror films.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, look, I think the Die Hard with a Vengeance has just the sort of two-hander nature of it. And then I think what Terminator 2 and Aliens both do so successfully is they expand the world of the first movie in a way that is bigger and feels like the canvas has grown. And it makes you love the first movie more simultaneously. And there's a bit of a genre shift in both of those movies, which I think we certainly are also doing in Ready or Not 2. But they also still, for as big as they get, there still is something so emotional at the center of both of those sequels. And so the combination of both of those things of scaling up but also getting smaller and really focused in this sort of relationship work and the character work was really exciting to us. The idea of replicating that in the mythology and lore of Ready or Not was a really cool idea to us.
Guy and Ryan had in the first draft, or not, maybe not the first draft, but an early draft of the original script for the original movie, they had a tag that they wrote sort of as a fun, like, if we could tease at the end, that was set in a hotel at a conference room, and there's a bunch of blue blood families walking in talking shit about the Ladomises, and it's revealed that they're all part of this big LaBelle organization. And then we couldn't shoot it because we had no time and no money. And so it was sort of just an idea that was there. So when we sat down to talk about what the sequel could be, it was the first thing they pitched us, was that it would be a direct continuation and that it would go into that world. And it'd show you that this was just the tip of the iceberg over here with the Ladomises.
And that it was international. I remember being
yeah,
excited
it was
that
international.
oh, this exists everywhere. That every culture, every continent, like the
Wherever there's wealth,
LaBelle is
there's a
sort of
LaBelle.
omnipresent. Yeah, it was really cool.
And it's this idea that is so big, and when you're hearing it that, well, we're still going to be making this movie on a somewhat limited budget. So it's this great fun idea of how do you blow something out, but still make sure that it's something that can be told in a contained, clear way. And I think that they nailed that, because you could do that so seamlessly in this movie. You could have this giant world, but it's not like we're like flying to other planets and showing you all this crazy shit. It's just, look what's really happening behind the scenes. Now let's go explore that.
I think all of them, we love all of them because, and I think we know that that's like, that, people are anticipating those moments. There's so much energy around what are the kills going to be and how are they going to be and what are those set pieces. And I mean, I think one of the things that was really fun to design, both in the script phase and then in pre-production when we were location scouting and finding all of these amazing, amazing practical locations to shoot in, was really tailoring all of those little kills to be as unique and specific and bizarre as the movie itself is.
And surprising.
Yeah, and I think that was something that we really, we learned a lot about making two Scream movies. That the sequences, the kill sequences in those films are so identifiable. Like when they're at their best, there's like a central concept that's really clear and really clean and really memorable.
Oh, extremely. We love it. It's a big part of the fun of making these movies, is you get to work with these really talented people. On this one, it was these two dudes, Greg and Connor, who were building these giant blood rigs. And it's just like this, you're playing make-believe on such like a big level. And so it is extremely fun. It's extremely fun on the day too, because when you're doing it, there's something to react to. It's real. It's there. It's everybody's covered in gunk, and it's like messy, and it's hot and smelly. And so the vibe is very authentic. And I think it's what we're always trying to capture in performance and gags and set pieces, whatever it is. It's how can we put the audience in this position and have them feel what we're feeling on the day, because it's really happening. It's not a bunch of green screen stuff later. It's not, it's some of it is helped a little bit by VFX and like cleaned up, but we try to do as much as we possibly can on set so that it's real for the actors, it's real for us, and then hopefully it feels real for the audience.
Well, we had developed a bit of a relationship with Elijah over the last few years, working on other things together. And so, I mean, when we were reading the script, like we knew we needed somebody who had like real chops to take a character that, for the most part, is like delivering rules and exposition over the course of
Could go terribly wrong.
Yeah, to somebody who could like really bring a sense of weirdness. Like a left of center approach to that character was something that we like really knew was essential to the movie working. And Elijah was just like the one of the first ideas we had. We sent him an email and we're very clear, like, don't read this like their stereo instructions. Like, we want the weird, bizarre interpretation of who this person is. And he was like immediately sold. And you know, and Sarah was the same way. Like the role on the page is so specific, but I mean, Sarah is just so talented, and she's so good at bringing an off-screen story to everything that she does. I think we were shocked on the day just how real Ursula felt. And you know, you always, when you get someone like Sarah, you just always want to like there to be more screen time for them, but you realize really quickly that her superpower specifically, is making it feel like even when she's not on screen, she's present, because she's delivered something so memorable and so catchy. And look, she's just like a pro. Like, she's an icon for a reason. Both of them are icons for a very specific reason, and we're so lucky that they have brought their talents to this movie.
There are a few that maybe weren't necessarily intentional, but there would have been more, by the way. But Sarah Michelle was great enough to flag a few things. Like when we had her with a crossbow, she was like, guys, we can't do this. And we're like, oh my God, you're so right. But you know, it's the we keep joking about the Elijah with the ring was not a thing that we kind of weren't even really worried about it. And then as soon as he signed on, we were like, oh shit, is this? Oh, let's just have fun with it. You know, it's those things happen because
cheeky meta nature of that is like part of the popcorn fun of.
And there's an osmosis, I think, that you just have. You know, we've lived with these people in our lives as fans for so long that it just kind of, you know, it works its way in. Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we've always talked about a road trip.
Love.
Like, road trip gone wrong.
We've never like really done. We also love sci-fi, like fans of Twilight Zone. We haven't really done like a sci-fi movie. I mean, how about a big action adventure mummy movie?
Sure,
that could be fun to do.
We haven't talked this far ahead, but I think after that, I think the hope is that maybe we can go do an original again. I mean, we love making original movies. It's like really fun, and we had a great time doing Scream, and we're really excited about doing The Mummy. So there's something special about both of those things. And I think at the end of the day, if you're lucky enough to get to do those, it's how do you make this your own? And I think that's something we focus on.
How do you make it original, even though it exists in a franchise? Yeah.
I think part of it, especially the Universal monsters, I think we've talked about this a lot on Abigail, is that those monsters all have like a real heart and soul and something that there's a humanity to them. They're, you know, like
they're a reflection of something in us.
Yeah. And they're not necessarily the bad guy, but they're viewed as the bad guy. And I think there's just something really human in that we can all kind of, in our own specific ways, identify with.
I think you have to really make people feel something. And I think that just comes down to, you know, being really specific with your characters and like not being afraid of earnestness. You know, I think that the world is like very cynical, and I think that for as much as our movies like deal in satire, I think when it comes to the emotion, I think we're not afraid to be really earnest and really heartfelt with how our movies feel and how we want audiences to feel about our characters. And I think at the end of the day, if you're really feeling something, and then it allows you inside the movie in a way that makes it more meaningful and hopefully scarier, right? At the end of the day, like that's the balance for us, is if you can have people feeling something, it's easy to make them laugh. It's easy to scare them. Like the process becomes this like very generous experience. And for us, that's all about just not being afraid to like be emotional and like be vulnerable and really like forward about that.
And just to, I mean, it's kind of saying the same thing in a slightly different way, but it's like at the end of the day, when we're so focused on, you know, phones and social media and onslaught of fucking news headlines and nonsense, being detached, it's finding a way to make something very human, you know, and I think it's
very connected.
Yeah. And it hopefully it's on screen. And then if you see it in a theater, it's also what we love about the theatrical experience is you get to sit in a room with a bunch of strangers and share something. And that's just getting rarer and rarer, but it's still very much possible. And I think it's something that's deep in our DNA that we're all hoping to, have that moment with other people.